Alright, gamers, what's up? It is your boys, Tyus and TJ, back at it again with another episode of the Untitled Gaming Podcast Project.
Wake
We
up,
have
gamers.
Wake up, gamers. E3 might have passed, but we're not done yet.
Can't be sleeping on these gaming headlines. Oh, God.
Uh, but yeah, we've taken a little bit of a break due to some unforeseen circumstances, but we're back.
Yep, the law can't find us now where we are, so we decided that now was the best time to make our grand return.
Yeah, absolutely.
Well, with that
Oh.
being said,
So let's start off with some gaming news. And
and yeah. Yeah, that gaming news. It feels a bit of a lull since E3.
yeah, I mean that's to be expected, but there's still some stuff happening in the world of like I guess gaming, not necessarily how would I put it? In the terms of in the way of releases and whatnot.
Oh yeah, nothing in terms of like
Uh,
big studio announcements.
yeah. There's stuff happening amongst certain communities though.
Oh, that
Um
is for sure. I think I know what you're referring to.
Yeah, the biggest one that I'm referring to is Asmongold, the biggest World of Warcraft content creator slash streamer, starting to play Final Fantasy 14.
Gasp. It's happening. The great migration.
Yeah, I mean, Asmongold has been very vocal about the stuff that he doesn't like in WoW, and he started playing Final Fantasy 14 on July 3rd, and he's been playing it like every day, and uh, despite him making how would I put it? Not exactly the most positive of claims when he's talked about it before. He's been genuinely enjoying the game. Like even like about an hour just before we started recording this, he put out a video on his like private or not his private, but like his I guess like personal channel where he's talking about the stuff that he likes and dislikes about Final Fantasy 14, and he's very positive about it.
Oh man, that's really cool. I was about to say you're being pretty generous about those statements in the past, but that, then again, giving hot takes is pretty common around these parts.
Yeah, I mean, if I'm being real, um, part of me took it as him just kind of playing up, like, like his quote unquote, like, stream character.
Yeah, yeah. Provocateur.
Yeah. But yeah, he's been very positive about the game, and it's great to see, somebody going through the game, like, with fresh eyes. Like, I've had the joy of introducing the game to new people, such as yourself.
I was literally about to say I was one of your conversions.
Yeah, and like hearing people talk positively about the game and seeing their reactions to certain story beats and combat and like getting, their job stone for the first time and everything. It's a really cool experience to be able to witness that again.
Yeah, I was gonna bring up, literally right after we talked about this earlier today, I have now gone down the YouTube rabbit hole of Asmongold. First, it's like reacting to videos of converting to Final Fantasy 14, and then I watched the first and the third day of him playing it. And yeah, like I mean, because I consider myself, I'm still pretty new to the game. I've only been playing for like almost a year, maybe a little over a year, and I still feel like new to everything. But
Mhm.
like the amount of enthusiasm he has for like everything that's going on, like he like straight up says like what he thinks is like really cool and like really embraces like the settings and like everything that's being thrown at him. And to be completely fair, he's reading more of the Realm Reborn content than I ever did already. So already like I super respect it, and it's really really refreshing to see.
Yeah, a lot of WoW players who have moved from WoW to Final Fantasy 14. if you watch their streams or their videos, a lot of them are actually skipping the story because they're just like, oh, I just want to get to the raid part. I want to do like, the ultimate fights. I want to do the savage fights, the extreme fights. I don't care about the story. Like I'm just here to play the game. But
Yeah.
seeing Asmongold actually read all of the text and like actually like understand the story, even if he is like memeing a little bit with like mispronouncing names, like calling Limsa Laminsa Lisa Lamasa,
Yeah, Lisa Loves.
calling Yashtola Yashlada or whatever, and just
Yeah.
like fucking around, you know.
Yeah, but that's like
Um,
fun. I think that's all in good fun.
yeah. I'm not saying like he's not like he's disrespecting the story or anything. If anything, he's taking the story very seriously, and it's really nice to see that, and like even to hear him in his video that he released just now, like talk positively about the ARR story, which many people will say like it's like the worst part of 14 or it's like the slowest part, like the it gets better like after ARR. So like to see him uh talk so positively about it's really great to see.
Yeah, and like honestly, me coming from like a similar position, well, not really similar because it's not like I was playing World of Warcraft and then transitioned over, but coming into Final Fantasy 14 without a lot of MMO background and like going through A Realm Reborn specifically, I remember feeling a bit of like what's the word I'm looking for? Not like it was a little challenging for me to like keep my attention to what was happening, and it was a lot of reading and especially in A Realm Reborn, it gets better later on, but there's not a lot of voice acting
Hmm.
except for like the most important parts, especially towards like the patches. Like I would say the moment when the story for Final Fantasy 14 like really hooked into me was definitely the patches after A Realm Reborn.
Oh yeah, so like the 2.x stuff, like past 2.0.
Oh yeah, that is where I was definitely like hooked
Hmm.
easily. But yeah, I
Yeah.
mean, yeah, just seeing again, it's really cool, and I can like really relate. And in a weird way, it's like I'm experiencing what I experienced a year and a half ago over again, in a good way.
Yeah, no, like genuinely, it does feel as though, like because I'm not gonna sit here and say that, I remember every little detail of the Final Fantasy 14 story. Like, I don't. And so seeing it again, and as well as seeing like, just his reactions to stuff, it's really nice.
Yeah, totally. I mean, the only thing I assume we are gonna get into this has been the community kind of reaction around it.
Yeah, yeah. And there's the positive part of the community and the very negative part of the community.
Yeah, and which is really it feels so uncharacteristic to hear a lot of the negative side of the Final Fantasy 14 community. I think I'm personally I still don't think the community for Final Fantasy 14 is characterized by a majority of these like really, bad actors. I think it's really kind of like shocking to see like just the amount of like audience in this. It kind of brings a lot of the bad actors forward.
Yeah, and thankfully, at least, a lot of the stream sniping bullshit has calmed down.
Yeah, from the day 3 video, it definitely seemed to be that.
Yeah, but like the first 2 days, it was like tons of people just following him around and using the Bard perform action to like spam music notes so that way he couldn't hear like the story or he couldn't hear things or using giant mounts so that way he couldn't see like where he had to go or killing like the little enemies that he had to do for quest turn-ins. Like seeing people doing that was really upsetting
Yeah, it really
because like
was.
their whole thing was like, oh, let's stop this toxic guy from coming into our community. But you can't call him toxic and then do toxic things back to him.
Yeah, and like literally what he's doing isn't even being toxic. Like he's literally giving this game a chance and like actually like wanting to try and enjoy it.
Yeah, yeah, he's giving it like a super fair shot. It's not like, he could have easily seen people doing that and then just been like, well, I'm done with this community. Like, this community's shit. This game is shit. Like, that just proves it. He could have easily done that on his first time playing,
Yeah,
and he stuck through it.
yeah. Honestly, good on him. He's got a lot of patience.
Yeah, yeah, definitely.
Yeah, it's just I don't know because especially just for me like going into Realm Reborn as like a sprout and like doing my like trying to understand healer or tank and like just struggling and losing over and over again, but like having my party be really encouraging has always been just one of my favorite things about like Final Fantasy 14. I never feel like the weight of the world is really on my shoulder. Like if I screw up, these people are gonna like leave and I'm gonna ruin like a whole like session for somebody. Everybody for the most part, like, and I'm sure maybe they're maybe not directly in the chat tell like saying how they feel, but at least like to me in the game, they're always very supportive and always like looking to help,
Hmm.
which has been just always a pleasure about Final Fantasy 14.
Yeah, like, I think one thing to remember is that the people that we're seeing do these things on his stream is not the majority. It's just the very vocal and toxic minority.
Yeah, one of the things I was afraid of is just that like I was worried about like bards showing up and then like playing like DMCA music or some shit because sometimes even the bands in Final Fantasy 14 can get picked up by the DMCA system.
Oh, well, that's actually the thing that like when you unlock Bard
Hmm.
and you have to do like a special quest to unlock the perform part of Bard.
Right.
When you unlock it, you actually have to click like a separate agreement in the game
Oh
that
my
says that you're not going to
god.
be playing any music that's like not from Final Fantasy.
Yeah, good luck with that.
People still do it, but like
Obviously.
on clicking that, you're acknowledging that if you do play music that's not from Final Fantasy, that you can have your account like suspended.
Yeah, that is worrying, to say the least. Like
Yeah.
so far, it seems the safest bet is doing like video game soundtracks has been the easiest way to like express some semblance of freedom, musical freedom.
Yeah.
It's when you start playing Smash Mouth on stream is when you gotta start kind of, you know,
I will
taking it a
say
bit back.
I will say one of my, and I guess this might be a little bit of a spoiler for later in the podcast, but um I'm never gonna forget when a friend and I, we were a few friends and I, we were in Limsa, and there was just like this band playing, and I'm pretty sure it was like somebody doing like one of those programs where you like control multiple characters at once so that you can
Yeah,
play music. There's like programs for it,
I'm pretty sure
but
like all the bands that perform pretty much do that.
yeah, but I'm never gonna forget. I don't remember what song they were playing, but I jokingly typed in shout chat, played a rude sandstorm, and after they finished their song, like they put away their things, took them out again to show that they were playing their next song, and then all we hear is do 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 do, and then like me and my friends on Discord just like, oh my fucking god, they're doing
Oh my god. That is still one of my favorite things about Final Fantasy 14 is like the fucking musicians. The actual musicians in shows.
Oh yeah, that's great.
Such a lively player base. Yeah, I'm trying to think if there's anything else around that story that I wanted to go over. I covered everything I could think of.
Oh, sorry, my Discord froze for a little bit.
Oh, no problem. Well, did
So
you wait, did I miss out on anything? Wait, did I see that? It may still be glitching. Unless it's my end? I don't think it's my end. There.
Hello?
Oh, hello.
All right. My my Discord crashed for a second. I'm sorry about that.
Oh, dude, it's all good. I marked down the time, so we're all good.
Okay, okay. So, what were you saying?
Oh, I was just I was just closing out saying I was trying to think if there's anything else I wanted to cover on that topic, but there I think I covered everything I wanted to talk about.
Only other thing that I can think of, uh, one, there was the uh announcement of the OLED Switch.
Oh, wait, we have to talk about the OLED Switch.
Yeah.
We're gonna need to talk about this OLED Switch deal. All right, fellas. This shit's getting a little bit out of hand, gamers.
Yeah, absolutely.
Look, I get the leaks and the hype and everyone getting built up over the Switch Pro rumors. But we gotta be real with ourselves here. Nintendo has never been the company to prioritize the like graphical qualities or the performance of like its console, which could be to its detriment in some cases. But like, this to me is not like out of line.
No, absolutely not.
Eh,
Um,
Yeah, you talk.
uh, I I just think that the people who are making this huge deal out of everything are being so stupid.
It really is just kind of ridiculous. The Because like the minute like it was announced, it just people flooded Twitter being like, okay, like Nintendo is giving its fans breadcrumbs, or like Nintendo is like barely doing anything and isn't supporting like 4K, and how are they going to compete with the PS5 and the Xbox? It's like, okay, well they've literally already said up front that what the way that they are doing this, they aren't competing for power. They're competing in the experiences that they offer.
Yeah, and I feel like Nintendo has always been the ones to do that.
Yeah. And again, doesn't mean it always works, which is totally okay. It's just that like I feel like we should have be used to this by now.
You would think.
I mean, I was talking to Tyus about this earlier because I can remember back when the new 3DS, like the new 3DS XL came out, and all the shit that was thrown at Nintendo because they announced a console that, yes, was slightly better because it had better load times. And I guess technically it must have been better processing because it had exclusive games that they were making for it. Although, and Tyus brought this up, I thought there was only one, but there were actually three games that were exclusive to the new 3DS model.
Yeah, Xenoblade Chronicles 3D, Fire Emblem Warriors, and Hyrule Warriors Legends.
Yeah, and I mean, like, I remember people being, "This is so anti-consumer. This is so like ridiculous that you're gonna lock out like your console like the initial buyers and all this." And then all of a sudden now it's, why the fuck aren't you making this better version of the Switch? Come on, like, look, because to some extent, like, I do get it. Because there are a lot of like AAA games and stuff like that that don't run the best on Switch because they're not made for that kind of hardware. They're next gen titles, or even just titles that aren't built for like, to be fair, like the Switch is older hardware. But it only is like that because what they're providing is a console and a handheld in one. And that's what you buy the Switch for.
Yeah, the Switch has like the power of like a PS3 or an Xbox 360.
Yeah,
It's not like a PS4, it's not an Xbox One. It's not on that same level. And the people who think it is need to fucking, like check themselves because they clearly don't know what they're talking about.
I mean, like the thought of a magic world where we can have a console like the Switch that runs like basically like the high end gaming PC kind of quality in that size, of course that would be wonderful. Or hell, somehow docking the Switch will magically make it run like a PS5. Sure, but like is the techno let's be real guys, is the technology really there for this right now in a way that it's like marketable to the consumer?
Yeah, I was gonna say like don't say that. Someone's gonna bring up like some Reddit post of some guy making like a portable PS5 and they'll use that as like proof that that it's possible and that the big companies are just like being cowards or whatever, like
Oh
they're
my
just
god.
holding out on us.
You know what? Someone approached me with their manufacturing plan for how they're gonna like actually implement it in a way where it's cost efficient and you can sell it and make a profit. And you know what? Go get your job with Nintendo because it looks like you would have actually just cracked the code on this whole industry. Because the thing is, if the Switch could do what these people are saying, like if Nintendo was capable of doing this, they would have done it by now.
Hmm.
Like we're already 4 years into the Switch's like the lifespan of this console, and by this point, and I think Tyus, when you looked it up earlier, what in terms of sales, how well is the Switch doing?
It has already outsold the 3DS,
Right.
and it is projected to outsell the Wii by the end of this year.
That is crazy numbers. The amount of people that own this initial Switch console is crazy. And then the idea that, oh, let's make a slightly better model now and let's alienate the people that bought the base model with this better model and we'll provide a better experience on it. It feels weird and a little bit backstabby to the people that may have bought the revision Switch. Like that maybe was like the thing that made them like get pushed over into buying a Switch. It's
Hmm.
like, oh well, now there's a new one. And like I guess now it's kind of coming down to personal preference because when it comes to like things like the PS4 Pro and stuff like that, I see those consoles as like pretty expendable, man. Like literally 2 years after the PS4 Pro comes out, the PS5 came out, and it makes me like just in terms of if I was in the shoes of someone because I have a PS4. And I gotta admit, like I once I had my computer, I really didn't feel like playing my games on the PS4 anymore in comparison. But
Hmm.
like if I was someone who then bought a PS4 Pro and then immediately was hit with that like, oh, now I got to get the PS5, I'd be like, why did I buy this PS4 Pro? Like it allowed me for like 2 years to play games slightly better.
Yeah, for
Like, I
me,
don't know.
it's kind of similar. For the most part, like I've had a PS4 for pretty darn near close to when it was released. I've had a PS4 like I think maybe I got it a year after it was originally released, I think.
Yeah, I think I got mine like
Um,
3 years after.
yeah, like so I've had a PS4 for a long time and I used to well even then I didn't really play too many games on it just because there wasn't too much that I was interested in.
Hmm.
Um, but uh I remember that I ended up um getting a better PC, or I got a PC. I used to be playing games on like a $150 laptop from Staples.
Hell yeah.
Like I used to, I used to really push myself, for lack of a better term.
I mean, I literally had like a similar setup with the desktop that was built for just only running like the Microsoft Office suite. So let's fucking go.
Yeah, so I used to I used to play games on that, and then once I bought a PC, it like opened up a brand new world to me.
Yeah.
And since then, like Uh, I have repurchased some of the games that I had on my PS4, like primarily just fighting games,
Hmm.
just so I could play, because realistically, the only thing I was using my PS4 for was to play fighting games.
Oh, okay.
And even if I wanted to play those fighting games online, um I had to pay for PS Plus.
Woohoo.
So I thought to myself, well, how about uh, I pay a bit extra, but ultimately I will be saving money in the long term,
Yeah.
and I'll just buy the games on Steam so I can play online without having to pay for it.
Yeah. And like to be fair, like back in the day, especially with stuff like because I had a 360 back when I had to choose between that or the three, and paying for Xbox Live, it was a fine service, but like when I realized that like literally on PC everything's free, like you don't. I mean, technically you gotta pay for your internet provider, but if you're living with your parents, you don't need to worry about it.
Yep.
But yeah, once I realized like it really felt weird that the console like people were making you pay for their online service, which what you have to do what you can to I guess afford to make the servers run.
Yeah.
When everything's cross-play, it's like I don't know anymore. This feels weird.
hmm But yeah, in a similar sort of situation as to like this whole OLED Switch thing, I had a base model 3DS for the longest time.
Hmm.
And like I was perfectly fine with it.
That
And I
beautiful
even found,
glossy screen.
yeah, yeah, and it was like I was using my girlfriend's like original 3DS the other like a few months ago, and I was just like shocked at how I was ever able to like see things on that
Right?
screen. Like I
Right?
don't know, I have no fucking idea how I played Monster Hunter on that shit.
Bro, the
Like
the XL literally should have just been the standard. Like, holy shit.
yeah, and it wasn't until like one my 3DS was starting to break in the sense that some of the buttons were starting to work not so well.
Oh no.
Um, yeah, so it wasn't until that happened and then they announced the Monster Hunter Generations uh like 3DS XL or
Mhm.
new Nintendo 3DS XL.
Yeah, I remember that model.
Yeah, and I pre-ordered that one because I was just like, you know what? I've got money and this 3DS is I want to say like 4 or 5 years old at this point, and uh, and I just wanted to upgrade.
Yeah, I mean, for the most part, the Nintendo upgrades in terms of how they do their systems, like, DS, DS Lite, then you kind of start getting into that territory with like DSi. But for the most part, and this is kind of how I view a lot of console upgrades, like the OLED is kind of to me what I would view as a really good console upgrade in terms of, yeah, if you are someone who from day one bought your Switch and it's starting to show its like age, like, and you're starting to think, well, this new model's out with better battery, but that's not enough of an excuse to actually upgrade, even though I would like a better battery. I feel like the OLED is that good excuse for me to be like, okay, this is different enough for me to feel the like want to invest. And I enjoy my Switch console a lot. So I feel like I would get like a lot out of this.
Yeah, I wouldn't say that this is as much of an upgrade from 3DS to new 3DS or new 3DS XL. For me,
Yeah,
this is
yeah.
more of an upgrade from DS to DS
DS
Lite.
Lite, for sure. For sure.
It's just better screen, better speakers, a better kickstand, which, by the way, that better kickstand I think is absolutely amazing because the one on the regular Switch is like so flimsy that I'm worried that this shit's gonna break every time I pop it open.
Is so mine already just pops out constantly. I because day one I had a case that kind of folded out and like you could make it into like a stand. But yeah, that stand that's built in on that new on the OLED Switch, so nice. What a fucking I can't believe it took them this long.
Yeah, yeah.
Like holy shit, how did they think that one kickstand was enough from the start?
I don't know, but I'm glad that they have designed an upgrade.
Yeah, so far, the only thing that I've been really agreeing with in terms of a feature that they didn't add that I'm surprised like hasn't been added. And to be fair, Nintendo could add this feature at any time through a patch because people have gone into the Switch software and they've seen that the ability is there. Is fucking Bluetooth support.
Oh, yeah.
That is like one of the bummers about the Switch is that it could totally do Bluetooth support, but it just doesn't choose not to. Because the thing is, a lot of
Yeah.
people were treating it like, oh, the Switch Pro is gonna have Bluetooth, and it's like, did you guys miss the part where literally every Switch can have that?
Yeah, you can get like a little add-on thing that's like third party, but it you can have a Bluetooth enabled Switch. It's just you gotta not go through Nintendo for it.
Oh yeah, but it's like not even that. I forgot how long ago this was, but people that were on the homebrew scene in the code of the Switch has built in the ability for Bluetooth. It just doesn't have the actual like code to actually do it.
I see.
So it's already built into the system. It's just they aren't using it.
Hmm.
It's really weird.
Yeah, I mean, not gonna lie, sounds like Nintendo.
Yeah, no, but then again, exactly though, and like that's the thing. Well, I don't want to come off like because we love Nintendo here, and I don't want to come off like the like I'm gonna white knight this $1 billion like corporation, but like Nintendo, like look, they're very stuck in their ways, for better or worse,
Yeah, absolutely.
and a lot of the times it is for the worst. Like holy shit. But god damn, you don't have to get so doom and gloom just because they released a model of the Switch you don't even have to buy.
Yeah, it's very it's just people, you know, being excessive over the internet, which I'm not shocked by.
Yeah.
It's just disappointing.
Yeah, it's just disappointing, ultimately. Eh. But yeah, in the end, I would consider getting a Switch OLED, but it's mainly that extra $50 that's making me not want to. What I was like hoping they would do, and like I think they did this for even during the DS Lite thing, is they bring down the price of the base model Switch to like 250. Then OLED Switch is now like the standard 300.
Oh yeah, I think they did that with the 3DS because I remember the
Is that what I'm
3DS
thinking
released
of?
and the 3DS released and it was like stupid expensive.
Yeah.
And that's why the original 3DS models, if you got it during the like beginning release period,
Oh, ambassador
um
program
yeah,
bastards.
the ambassador program because you bought it when it was like at its peak price. And
They
that was
had
like
all
Nintendo's
those
way of thanking
GBA
you.
ports that they never brought to the eShop.
Yeah, that to me is like almost a sin because there's like you could get like what Metroid Fusion,
Yeah.
Fire Emblem: The Sacred Stones,
Fucking Minish
uh,
Cap, bro. Minish Cap. Come
yeah,
on.
Minish Cap is one of my favorite Zelda games. Like, uh,
Ah,
it was upsetting to see that, like, because I 100%, I 100% would have paid to
yeah.
get ports of those games
Easily.
on the 3DS.
Easily. Although, to be fair, although this doesn't really apply to you, it applies to me though. They did port them over to the Wii U. Woohoo. Hey, all my Wii U owners out there. Let's
Yeah, all four of
go.
you.
All four of us. Let's fucking go. Oh god. I'm trying to think. The only GBA games that I bought were Minish Cap. I think Mario and Luigi Superstar Saga.
Oh, that game is so good.
Yeah, I'm considering now because since the Wii U has become the Metroid console, I'm like might as well just pick up Fusion and Zero Mission.
Those are both really, really good games.
When I hear, I've only played Metroid Prime 1 and 2, and then I've done like the beginning, the like barely the beginning of Super Metroid. And I like the Metroidvania like game style. It's just I don't know. I don't know why I've never like gotten into Metroid.
Um, I mean, at least for me, it can be a bit of a daunting game to get into.
Yeah, that could be it.
Like, it's got a lot of history, and like the fans are very rabid about the fact that you have to play the old games or you have to know like the lore or whatever.
Yeah, Samus
Um,
was raised by the chorizo race or whatever, right?
yeah, she was raised by some Spanish sausage,
that's what I remember. That's
but
that's my Metroid. Anyway, go.
and like on top of that, it can be very daunting to see that there's like this huge map and you gotta almost kind of memorize it as you go through it.
Yeah, and it always like it wasn't always very. I mean, obviously this is kind of Metroidvania in general, but never really exactly straightforward. And knowing where you need to like bomb the wall to go through and your morph ball, stuff like that.
Yeah. Yeah, that's something that you like learn after like you've beaten the game like twice and then you're like, "Oh, I didn't know you could do that."
Yeah, yeah, exactly.
To be
But
fair, those
yeah,
those games have an insane amount of replay value.
well, for that reason alone.
Especially like once you learn like sort of like, speedrun stuff and whatnot,
Hmm.
like sequence breaks and everything, like those games become so fun.
I was about to say it's almost. I mean, this isn't exactly the same, but it's the something I've really enjoyed about because now I'm all caught up on Resident Evil. Kinda, I didn't do like 1 or 0 or Code Veronica, but at least from what I've played, like it's cool that you can keep going through them and get new things and find new things. Like it's interesting how that game really encourages you to keep playing it over.
Oh yeah, that's always been a big thing of the Resident Evil games.
I've really enjoyed that. It's refreshing to see a game that like really encourages replayability like that.
Yeah, it encourages replayability and it also encourages you to speedrun because it gives you rewards based on
Yeah,
how fast you beat it.
to say like your rankings and everything. But yeah, Switch OLED. Uh, more like Switch GOOT of my face and go into the garbage. I don't know.
You spelled gout.
I couldn't. I didn't include the space in between. I said GOOT. Goat. Oh, goat. Goat my face. Actually, that almost sounds dirty now. Anyway, what's what's next on the docket?
The only thing I can think of, and I'm not sure if you've heard about this, but I think it was four members of FaZe Clan recently were in one of them got kicked out, and I think three of them are suspended from the team right
Yep,
now.
I did
Oh,
hear
you heard
about
about
this.
this?
Oh yeah,
Yeah, they got kicked
pumping.
and they're in some hot water because of cryptocurrency.
Yeah, they did a fucking pump and dump, like pretty open about that. Like God, man, what a so fucking weird. And also the fucking irony, or not even irony, it's just sad. The name of the fucking cryptocurrency was it Save the Kids?
Yeah.
Like what the fuck? What the fuck, man? Yeah, this crypto shit's getting out of hand.
Yeah. Yeah.
Eh. But yeah, I mean, honestly, I guess that's probably the right move. They can't just use their platform as like pro like esport players to like make money off their like base. That's really fucked.
Yeah. Took the words right out of my mouth.
Like honestly, it would be like literally like because is there any sort of like what like any sort of other I'm trying to think like any sort of other drama around this besides like just straight up like what they did. Are people like,
Um,
oh, they should reinstate him, bring him back? They
no,
learned.
I have literally not seen anybody saying that they should bring him back.
Like, good, because they fucking shouldn't. Like, it's one of these things where, because like, wasn't one of them literally the guy that cried because he got banned from playing Fortnite, even though he was playing with like fucking hacks on or whatever?
Yeah, yeah.
To
One
be
of
fair, it wasn't competitive, but like, still, you're being like a dickhead.
well, not only that, but he made a YouTube video out of it, which,
Hmm.
encourages his like young and impressionable fan base to do the same.
Yeah, man, it's so fucking dumb.
Yeah,
Like
they're just stupid.
I've never understood the idea of like hacking in a multiplayer game to be funny. Like it's not really that funny unless it's like a hack that like is at like the expense, like it doesn't ruin everybody's fucking game, I guess.
Yeah,
But even then, I don't really, I can't off the top of my head name anything like that.
me personally, I am somebody who I don't use mods. I don't use any hacks or any
I
like
saw you using that X-ray mod in Minecraft. Don't lie. You didn't find that many diamonds on your own. You're full of it.
I don't know what you're talking about, dude. On the bootleg server, I literally have 0 diamonds.
I'm kicking you off the Untitled Gaming Esport corporate collaborative.
Uh, but yeah, it's I, I want to play the game in most cases the way that the developers intended.
Yeah.
I say in most cases because I play Smash Brothers Melee competitively.
Yeah, which is not what Sakurai wanted. Every time you wave dash, Sakurai cries.
Yeah.
Oh man.
But um yeah, that shit with crypto was part of me thinks it's funny because I saw some video like of this guy like doing this whole investigation as to what they did and everything.
Hmm.
Um and like they kind of calculated how much money they made, like roughly,
Yeah.
and they made like somewhere around like I think like 20 to 30 thousand dollars
Bro.
off this Save the Kids coin, which it's a lot. Don't get me wrong. I'm not
I
saying it's
think
not a lot of
I
money.
think it's a lot. I don't have that much fucking money. I'd like that much money.
No, yeah, yeah, definitely. But then if you consider how much money they make because of sponsorships and streams and YouTube
Ugh.
revenue and everything, and their contracts, it's like, why would you risk all of that to just make like $20,000 when I'm pretty sure like their like annual contract is probably worth like 10 times as much. I'm sure they're making at least 6 figures.
I think I think legitimately they probably didn't even like realize like what they were fucking doing.
No, no, no,
And that's
because
not even
the Save the Kids coin originally,
uh-huh.
like it was advertised as like you can't pump and dump it because there's a failsafe where you cannot sell more than uh uh I think like 20% of their total amount. Uh,
Uh-huh.
and like you can only sell at most like 20% of your total amount per day.
Uh-huh.
But then the code literally got changed the night before it went live so that it was 20% per minute.
Bro, kicked off the fucking esport team? They should be in fucking court. What is that?
It's literally against like they're literally breaking the law.
What the fuck, dude? That's fucking crazy. Jesus Christ. Yeah, no more Call of Duty. How about like fucking go no more pooping in your own private room.
Yeah, no. So
Jesus Christ, dude.
like it's clear that these guys knew exactly what they were doing.
Mhm. That's yeah, no, that's fucked. That is totally fucked.
Yeah. So, um, to me, it makes no sense that they would risk that much money, like I guess that much potential money for like $20,000 when they make more um with all of the other revenue that they get.
Yeah, I think God, dude, the only thing I'd be willing to risk like all that money on is like the stomach ache I'd get from buying all that the Little Caesars pizzas I'd be buying with with all that money I'd be getting. You know what I'm saying? uh, God damn it! Ooh, they're just they're fucking idiots, dude. They're fucking. That's it's so scummy, and it sets just a bad example of fucking esport competitors.
Yeah, yeah,
It's really really just fuck those guys.
yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, that's a pretty clear cut case.
Well, back to more positive stuff.
A
Uh, our subject of discussion for this week is gaming memories.
a nostalgia filled walk down memory lane.
Yeah. So, uh, would you like to go first, or do you want me to go first? Like, and these for anyone who's curious, it could be anything. But I'm assuming that we both primarily picked like positive memories,
Yeah, I think for
but
the most part.
yeah, we're just going to be talking about some of our favorite memories when it comes to games and whatnot.
Yeah. Um, I guess you start. I'm curious to hear yours.
Okay, so for me, one of the first things I thought of when it came to gaming memories was uh my first tournament, because like I'm the esports guy. Like esports is a
You
huge
guys
part of my
know
life and
Tyus is
everything.
the esports guy? You guys know?
But I remember like when I was in high school, I tried asking my parents to let me go to video game tournaments all the time. They would always say no.
Hmm.
Uh, but then one day, just before I started going to college, a friend of mine told me about a Smash tournament next to the college that I was going to go to.
Hmm.
And I asked my parents, and they actually said, yeah, I could go. Like, I was graduated from high school. I had signed up for, college classes because, for me, actually, just before, or not, like, around the end of my junior year, start of my senior year, I had come up with like I had the idea that uh, I want to be a esports competitor. I want to be a pro of some sort.
Right. Yeah, yeah.
And so I literally like kind of like ignored all of my class stuff, like any sort of school stuff, and
Yeah.
I spent so much time just practicing like uh in particular just like Smash Melee. Like I would uh, come home from school and I would practice like tech skill and melee for I want to say maybe like 5 to 6 hours every day.
Jeez.
Yeah, because like once I learned that like competitive gaming was a thing and people get signed to like esports organizations and everything, I was like, I want that to be my life. Like I
Right,
don't like
yeah.
school and I want that to be my life. And I actually almost didn't graduate high school because of it.
Jeez.
Yeah, no, like I had to take a an adult school class in for English because I didn't pass the first semester of my senior English class.
Oh wow, I did not know that.
Yeah, yeah, no, I was, and I have said this multiple times. I was a dumbass for doing that. Like I'm not defending what I did at all. Like it was complete stupidity. Stupidity.
Sakurai would not be happy with you, dude.
No, I'm not happy with me, dude. But um, yeah, after I ended up graduating and I actually signed up for classes and everything. My parents, I guess, saw that I was willing to make like a balance. Like I was going to do school stuff, but I also wanted to do this competitive gaming stuff. So they let me go to this tournament. And at this tournament, since it was primarily advertised at the college, and I hadn't gone yet, like I was going to be an incoming freshman. Um, I was the youngest person at that tournament, and but I was just so excited to finally be at some sort of competitive gaming event that like I was literally so excited that I was like actually like jumping up and down, like just waiting for my
Aw.
match. Yeah, like I was that level of excited, and like I heard people making fun of me, like saying like, "Oh, who the fuck's this kid?" Because like they're all college students, and they see this dude who's just like fresh out of high school, and like I look young for my age,
Right,
like
right.
I know that.
Yeah.
um, but then I remember even I was the last match of the first round of the bracket, and uh, I go up and I just completely destroy my opponent. And uh, you know,
That opponent's name? Albert Einstein.
no, and then I went through the bracket. I made it to the finals, and then in the finals, I got really nervous and I just like
Aw.
choked and I played really bad, but I still made second place and everything. And this was just before Smash 4 came out.
Damn, dude.
So a bunch of people at that tournament after that, they came up to me and they were like, "Oh, you're really good. Like, you want if you ever want to practice, like, if are you in the area? If you want to practice sometime, like, hit me up." Like, a bunch of them like gave me their number and everything because they were just like they wanted to play against me more because they found out like this kid's actually good.
Yeah. I mean, that's how you get better. You gotta figure out who's good. You gotta play him.
Yeah, and for me, like that is one of my favorite gaming memories, just because it was my first taste of competition, and I got second place, and it felt really like that's what made me fall in love with competing.
Bro, like, I love that story. It reminds me of, like, when you hear people or like musicians talking about like the first time they go to a concert, or like a sports player first time going to like a ball game. It's the first time you fully experience being in that element that you like have like been searching for.
Yeah.
That's awesome, man.
So, how about you? I want you to hit me with one of your moments.
So a lot of my memories, and this happened as I was like going back trying to remember some of this stuff, and it's nothing like really like a grand like moment that happened, but it's just the feelings that I get, and like the kind of like, how do I explain this? I feel like the best way I can explain this is just by kind of hopping into it. The first
Hmm.
thing that I'm talking about was just growing up with my brother, who experienced a generation of gaming before me, but I definitely inherited like a Super Nintendo and an N64 because of him through via hand me downs.
Hmm.
But the memory specifically is playing, because we never could agree on games to play because he was very much just into sports games. But the few times when we would come together would always be on family trips to our Nana's house, and we would play Donkey Kong Country.
Hmm.
And so I always associate, and this kind of goes for a lot of Super Nintendo games in general. But that the sound system, or the sound system, like the sound font and everything to the Super Nintendo, just I can close my eyes and it's like I'm at my Nana's house. Like I can smell my Nana's house if I just hear like any song from Mario World or the Donkey Kong OST. And specifically, like the place I always go to was that there was one night, and I'm pretty sure it was when we were visiting for Christmas, and this like just kind of set like the tune so perfectly. But like my brother and I we got our whole, because we would get set up. It was a 2-story house, and we were downstairs in the kitchen on like this little like foot by foot old CRT, and we had our like Super Nintendo hooked up via the like coaxial cable, and
Mm-hmm.
we're sitting there like whole house pitch black, only light coming from the CRT. It's like like 2 a.m. in the morning, and our parents would kill us if they knew that we were awake. But like we're there still awake playing Donkey Kong Country. We're in the ice area. I'm trying to remember the name of that like part of the island. I can't off the top of my head. But I do remember just the fucking music and the ambiance, cuz we still had the sound on, and like hearing it like echo in like the room, and like the ambiance that set, like, God, dude, it almost makes me want to fucking cry. Like I can like be back there right now. Like
It was a Gorilla Glacier.
it was fucking Gorilla Glacier.
I
I'm
just looked it up.
fucking I'm tearing up over fucking Gorilla Glacier. This is already off to a great start.
No, man, that's legit as shit, dude. Like,
I mean, the one thing that I fucking never forget is my brother always fucking made me play Donkey Kong, and I hated it because Diddy controlled so much better.
mm-hmm,
But yeah, no, like that. It's like that, like environment, that like whole ambiance. It fucking like my body time travels back every time. Like I think about
mm-hmm.
it.
Yeah, no, that's really that's a special memory.
And especially just because it was like always one of the few times like where my brother and I got along growing up, because he's like 7 years older than me, and we were always like kind of at each other's throats, especially because he was more on the sports type. I was more the computer film theater kid guy,
Mm-hmm.
not very into athletics.
Yeah.
So we always clashed on that front. But when it came to Donkey Kong Country or like anything on Super Nintendo that was like 2 player, we were always like there. Yeah, I think that pretty much completes my first gaming memory. Comes to mind.
Nice. All right. So another one for me is it's actually from Final Fantasy 14.
Let's fucking go.
Um and in particular, because my girlfriend and I actually we pretty much got together because of uh Final Fantasy 14.
Oh.
Like, at first we were just, um mutual friends of this one friend,
Mm-hmm.
but uh we started playing Final Fantasy 14 together, and we would role play as our characters and everything,
Yeah.
and we would it got to the point where we would stay up till like 4 or 5 in the morning, and I would even have like class the next day. But we would, we just wanted to, keep playing and talking with each other and everything.
Yeah.
Um, and just going through A Realm Reborn together with her, because she was playing it before I was. Um, Going through A Realm Reborn together with her, like her showing me places, and then we got to the point where I caught up in story with her, and we were going through the story at the same time, exploring these new areas and everything.
Yeah.
And just like doing a lot of like, basic stuff. Like it wasn't anything like we were doing, like we were doing like extreme fights, or we weren't doing savages or anything. We were just, messing around and having, a good time exploring different parts of the world, and like looking for, places that we could like role play or stuff like that,
I was
and
literally
just
gonna
doing
say, you
stuff like
guys
that.
are having an adventure.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. And just doing stuff like that, uh, just doing stuff like that it's a part of 14 that I'm never gonna forget.
Honestly, that is, I love that because it really is kind of the magic of the online, like online gaming as a whole. And I feel like a lot of the times people will give video games this bad rap of being very antisocial You're not like making real connections. But there are real stories like this too, you know?
Yeah, and another thing that kind of comes with that was my girlfriend and I actually like one of our big, I guess like quote unquote like what we call like a big date for us was we actually went to the Final Fantasy 14 Eorzean Symphony uh
Ah,
in it was the first one to ever come through North America.
wow.
Yeah, and it was a really, really cool experience.
Dang.
Granted, we got spoiled with a few things because we weren't caught up with story yet, but uh, it was a really, really great time.
Well, yeah, I imagine hearing the live music and all the memories and being able to experience that like way outweighs the possibility of being spoiled.
Oh my God, hearing the music uh live was amazing.
Oh my god, dude. I've been ever since like because like now that I play Final Fantasy 14, I want to go to one of those so fucking badly. But like always, I've wanted to go to that Zelda Symphony.
Oh yeah, yeah.
I would have killed to. I got that CD that like came with Skyward Sword.
Oh yeah, I have that CD right next to me actually.
I love that fucking CD.
Yeah,
I
it's
like
like
when I got my first car, that was like the fucking thing that was always in my disc tray.
for me, and this is gonna sound really stupid, but I have a Walkman still.
Dude, that is not stupid. I still have a Walkman. What do you want? What are you
Uh,
calling me?
no, because people give me shit for it, but
Dude.
for
Physical
me,
media.
yeah, yeah. My girlfriend actually, she recently got me, for my birthday, she got me the two-part disc set for. Let me find the actual CD. Yes. Yeah, she got me the Untempered 2, which is the Final Fantasy 14 Primal Battle Themes two-disc CD set.
Damn.
Yeah,
Holy
and
shit.
like so on my Walkman, I actually have the original Persona 4 soundtrack CD that came with Persona 4.
Nice.
Uh the Skyward Sword uh like
The
orchestra
Symphony of the
30
Goddess,
or I
yeah.
think was that
It was
yeah,
the is it the 20th?
I think it was the 20th anniversary
Yeah.
symphony CD. Uh, and I have a few other CDs, but yeah, like those are
What
the
is your
two things.
favorite track on that Zelda Symphony disc?
Oh, my favorite track? That's tough.
Mine's easy. If you want to know mine first, it will help.
Mine is probably the Wind Waker suite.
Bro, yes! Holy fuck. It literally like takes you through the whole game. That was my favorite thing about that one.
The way that it starts off with like the legend of the hero,
Yes.
like from like from the start of Wind Waker, because Wind Waker is my favorite Zelda game,
Yeah, yeah.
and when it starts off with that part of because I've always loved that part of Wind Waker.
I get chills, bro. I get chills from
And
that opening
yeah, the
part.
fact that it starts off with the do 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 do
The
do,
wind instrument's so fucking.
that the Wind Waker part is definitely my favorite. Like my second favorite's probably Gerudo Valley.
Dude, why are we literally the same on this? Or is that just the general consensus?
I don't know, but those two are my definite favorites.
Yeah, bro, that CD was fucking crazy. I listened to that shit so much.
Yeah.
Sorry, I feel like we kind of sidetracked off base from Final Fantasy 14.
No,
But
no,
like,
no, we're good. We're good.
that honestly, like, it's such like a heartwarming like thing that you actually
Hmm.
like get to experience that.
Yeah, so that is probably my most like my favorite memory of Final Fantasy 14. It's definitely the one that means the most to me.
Mm, I like it. Ah, I guess. I mean, if you brought up that, I feel like I gotta. I guess I could do this one next. Um, I I remember kind of growing up. Like, I first was introduced to Animal Crossing on the GameCube at a family friend's house,
Hmm.
and I had never really like seen a game that provided so much like customization options in that way, where like you could do your own patterns and lay out your house, and it was something that really instantly clicked with me and appealed with me. And I remember getting that on GameCube and just playing it to death, putting in the codes to get the NES games off the KK raffle.
Hmm.
Like, I love the Animal Crossing series so much. And then I remember when City Folk came out, I immediately like knew I had to get it, and it came with the Wii Speak, which was this concept to me which was unheard of, the idea of like talking to somebody through the game, even though if you had a computer or anything, anybody, you've been doing, chat rooms have existed before
Yeah.
this. But like the Wii Speak to me was like groundbreaking. In my mind, I'm like, all my friends at school with their Wii's, we gotta play Animal Crossing. We gotta connect this way. But the one thing that like I never really accounted for was that like a lot of people, I guess at my school, to them like Animal Crossing was a girl's game, and like I was very much. I don't, as far as I can know, only one of my friends had Animal Crossing growing up, and even then, like we were very quiet about actually playing that game, which is
Yeah,
like,
I mean,
hmm?
it was kind of the same for me, to be honest, because
Really?
aside from you, I only know one other person who had Animal Crossing City Folk.
Dang, really?
Yeah,
Oh my god, dude. Yeah, I mean, like, yeah, it just felt like I mean, obviously, I guess the cutesy designs and all that, but I always just really liked the art style, and it felt like so like homely. If that's the word I'm looking for. It was comfort food, like really, and like late nights like stargazing in the game like felt real, and like that shit like filled my childhood.
yeah,
And
there was like doing stuff like that. One of the like my favorite things was you could bury your shovel,
oh
and then
yeah,
it would
dude,
say you could dig it up, and it would be a golden shovel.
that it literally fulfilled a lot of the like playground secrets and stuff like that. Like I'd find shit out from like my one friend that was playing with me at the time. I'd be like, wait,
Yeah,
really? And he's like, yeah, if you stay up like this late and go to the fountain, like Barry shows up, or like it's like things like that. I was like, what the
yeah, and if
fuck?
you wake up at like 6 in the morning and you go to the edge of the town where the tunnel is, sometimes the little dividers that are there will be moved out of the way, and you can
Yeah,
talk to Rossetti in the morning.
yeah. The shit like that was like urban legend, but like really was programmed into the game, and like it felt so like it made the game so like immersive, like for lack of a better word. And I love the Animal Crossing series to death. And then after City Folk, I played New Leaf, and during that time I was in high school, and I was still pretty much like the only person I knew really playing Animal Crossing. At this point, my friend that I grew up with, he went to a different high school, and we were still in touch, but he didn't have a 3DS and he wasn't really playing the new Animal Crossing. And in high school, I met my girlfriend Maya. However, we only started dating after high school. We were only really friends in high school. But when I was getting to know her, she had mentioned that I forgot if I brought up I was playing Animal Crossing on the 3DS, and then she mentioned that, oh, like I know what Animal Crossing is. I played it on the Wii, and I was like, somebody else. Like it was like bells ringing in my head. I'm like, this is somebody else that has played Animal Crossing. Holy shit! Like I'm not alone. And I remember like literally that night we immediately like set up, because this at this point the Wii's Online was still a functional thing you could use. And we went home And I remember like connecting online using the We Speak to talk and like seeing her town and immediately realizing that my town was garbage compared to hers.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah. I know that Maya does not mess around when it comes to Animal Crossing.
no, she doesn't. Like, she does her homework. She knows like the villagers she wants, and she knows like how to get what she wants from them. She's got all the ways to like make bells. She had the fully upgraded house like by the beach, and I think I had only upgraded to the point where I had just got the basement and like the first like part of the basement. And that was like in all the years I owned that game.
I'm never gonna forget when it was just before New Horizons came out. And I downloaded Animal Crossing Pocket Camp.
Mm-hmm.
I just wanted a quick like Animal Crossing fix.
Oh my god.
And I remember because I told you
Yeah.
because you told me that Maya was still playing Pocket Camp.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, well, I should just add her then. Like, I'm not going to be playing too much, but you know, like, uh, as if there's like, some like benefit to having friends and sending them stuff, like, all the better, right?
Yeah.
And so I added Maya, and I saw that she was like level like 514 or something, and I was like, I'm level 7. What the fuck?
And to be fair, she has not played Pocket Camp for like a long time, but I remember during that time, like it was all she was doing on her phone. I'm like, how? Because I also love Animal Crossing, but I could not get into Pocket Camp the same way. But like seeing her like grinding the fortune cookies and like doing everything to make sure she got like every like seasonal item she could, I was just like at a loss. Like how? Animal Crossing Pocket Camp is a whole other beast, like
Yeah.
entirely. But like I just Animal Crossing to me will always be that game that like really cemented why I really like what Maya and I like really get, and that is honestly these games that involve a lot of talking, but like it's the way that we're able to like express each ourselves in these worlds and like really get like involved with each other, and it helped us break down that barrier to like actually get to know each other.
Hmm.
And like honestly, like I'm always like now when I think of City Folk, I think of going to her town and seeing her house, and then she went to my town and saw my dinky little cottage and like all my weeds in my town, and she was like picking up my weeds, and I'm like, it's okay. Like you don't need to do that. Like,
That's
I'm getting red just thinking about this. Jeez.
no, that's so sweet though. Like, because like in a very similar sort of way, like when I think of Final Fantasy 14, and I think back to when I started playing the game, and like I remember, I think the buff still exists, but at the time there was, well, this was during Stormblood, so at the time it was the road to 60, not the road to 70.
Mhm.
But there was a buff where before you were 10 levels before the max level, there was a special buff that you got that gave you like pretty much like double the XP.
Ah.
And I had it at the time, and like I was like super high leveled compared to the like MSQ.
Mhm.
And I wouldn't even say like super high level, like it's like the MSQ was like level like 16 or something, and I was like level like 23 or whatever.
Yeah.
And I remember I got Sash Tasha the first dungeon in 14,
Mhm.
and my at the time friend, not my girlfriend yet,
Right.
she offered to do it with me, and I was like, oh, I think we can do it unsynced because I'm higher level than the dungeon, and like these outside mobs, they're not hurting me, like we'll be fine. Uh, and then I found out dungeon mobs hit considerably harder than like just everyday environment
Yeah.
mobs.
Yeah.
And we did clear Sash Tasha unsynced, but like I was pretty much close to death through most of it.
Bro. My
Because
God.
she was playing, she wasn't playing a healer, she was playing a DPS, but we did it.
Oh my god, how the hell did you? Wow. That's actually really impressive. Jeez.
And it's just doing stuff like that. Like we found a way to like cheese like this like A rank hunt in ARR before we were level like she was level 60. I think I was like barely above level 50.
Oh damn.
And we two-manned an A rank hunt by like one of us would die, but our chocobo was still there fighting
Oh
the rank, the hunt.
yeah.
And so I was like, wait, instead of both of us rezzing, one of us rezzes and comes back with our chocobo, so that way if we die, like the other one can res and run back before the chocobo dies. So that
Oh.
way it stays in combat and it doesn't regen.
Oh my god.
And we ended up beating this like A rank hunt. We only got like I think like 20 tomestones for it, but we were like fucking popping off because we like big brained like cheese this hunt.
The real tombstones were the chocobo we surrendered along the way.
uh but
That's so funny, dude.
yeah, it's like, you know, it's little things like that. Like
Uh,
especially when you do stuff like with your significant other, especially if it, like even if it's like some like, you know, some dumb shit, you know. Like
yeah.
you with like having like, you know, your little rinky-dink town, or me like mistakenly thinking I could tank a dungeon, even though I was nowhere near the level I should have been.
Oh my god, dude. I mean honestly, for me, like Animal Crossing City Folk, even though like that game, I played it way before I met Maya, but like it always to me sticks out in my mind as like the game that really like let me like see a side of her I didn't even know and like help me like really get to know her.
Hmm.
And yeah, it honestly like I'll always be grateful for that experience and for my shoddy ramshack town that I had. I was all about just like collecting and hoarding and like talking to animals, but never really on the upkeep. It's
Hmm.
always weird in that way. But yeah, so that was that's the end of that memory.
Hmm. Nice. Okay, for me, let's see. Another memory that's very near and dear to my heart is uh in particular my first Evo trip.
Oh damn,
Um
that's a religious experience.
it, it pretty much was.
It's literally
Like
pilgrimage.
I think the first year that I went was it 2016? I have the badge here. Let me look at it.
Oh yeah.
2017. Okay, so the first year I went to Evo was 2017.
Oh.
Uh, and this was also a big year for Evo because it was the 15th anniversary of Evo.
Ooh.
And you know, I had watched it online before, like for the past like 4 years, like 2013 to 20 through 2016. I watched Evo online.
Yeah.
But you know, 2017, I had friends who like were into esports, like they played like fighting games competitively and everything.
Hmm.
And we made a plan to go to Evo together. Like we road tripped it and everything. We rented a van.
Damn.
We drove from like we left like Torrance, like SoCal. We left I think at like 6 in the morning.
A long drive, man.
Yeah. But like it was so cool, just you know, like road tripping it with you know my boys,
Yeah.
and then we get there and um one competing was such a cool thing because it's not like, you know, some local that I've been to before. It's not like, you know, there's going to be like, you know, like, you know, like 20, 30 people in this bracket. No, there was literally thousands of people in this bracket.
Gee.
And seeing everybody there and knowing that everybody has something in common in the fact that, they all play fighting games. If you're in that bracket, it's because you all play that game.
Right.
And even then, like, seeing, like, the developers there, seeing the exhibitors, and what was even cooler for me was seeing the pros there, like, in person. Like,
Sounds like unreal.
yeah, like, I was so used to watching these people from, like, through a screen.
They're a lot
And
smaller in person.
most of them are actually, like, pretty tall. It's kind of
Oh dang.
intimidating.
Dang.
But, um, like, being able to see these pros, like these people that I've like idolized, and being able to ask them for a picture, being able to, you know, ask them for their autograph and stuff, for
Mhm.
me was like one of the coolest things.
Yeah, man.
And uh the year after that, 2018, only me and two other guys went because some people just like, they weren't into the games at the time or they didn't have the money to go or whatever.
Oh dang.
But that year, since it was just the three of us, we decided, oh, let's kind of go big, and we decided to, because the year before we went for, we left on Thursday, we did Friday, Saturday, and then we came home like on Sunday.
Mhm.
But this time we decided, because the three of us, we instead of driving there, we flew there.
Yeah.
Um, but this time we decided, hey, instead of going home like Sunday morning, let's stay for the Sunday finals because like Sunday finals you have to like pay for because it's in like it's like in an arena. It's like in a ticketed event,
Oh right, right.
and like being there on Sunday final, and this was the first year that Dragon Ball Fighters was at Evo.
Oh.
And there's a very famous clip on YouTube of before, because at the time Cell was a very popular character in Dragon Ball Fighters.
Mhm.
And like in his like little intro like quote screen, he screams, and like the commentators are saying like, "Hey, we're gonna let the intros rock out," like because like normally you'd like skip those for tournaments or whatever.
Yeah.
But they were like, "Hey, we're gonna let the intros rock. When the characters scream, we want you to scream."
Oh wow.
And you can find it if you look up like Evo 2018 like Dragon Ball Fighters Scream.
Mhm.
Um you can there's like footage of like the commentators saying like oh, and like on this side you have this player rocking this team, and then like you see like the screen and like one of the characters screams, and then you just hear the entire arena erupt with people screaming.
That's so funny.
And
Also,
it was so sick.
yeah, I was
Like
literally about to say, like the energy of that room must have been incredible.
it was insane. It was so good. And like a lot of like really like kind of like big things happened during that finals, like during the Tekken finals, like the
Mhm.
top 8. Um so Korea and Japan have always been the strongest regions for Tekken,
Mhm.
and Korea in particular was like the champions for like the past 2 years in a row. And the champion from the year before, JDCR, was playing against an American player, the sole American player of the top 8. His name was Lil Majin, and he was playing King, like the pro wrestler dude with the jaguar mask.
Oh.
Uh, and the first game, JDCR kind of whooped his ass,
Mhm.
but in the second game, uh, Lil Majin made this crazy comeback, and suddenly it was 1-1. And then Lil Majin won the third game, and like the crowd erupted because like he
Damn.
was like the hometown hero, and it was like predicted to lose because like this is the Evo champion from the year before.
Like this is the kind of shit that you pay to these events to like see. Like this is what you won out of it.
Yeah, it was like the final, like being in the Sunday finals for that year in particular was like something so special.
That sounds like it. Holy shit.
Yeah.
Huh. I gotta whenever Evos are gonna be in person again, I gotta actually like check one out.
Yeah, no, I definitely want you to go to an in-person esports event.
I want to go and I want to like get some like coverage of it and stuff. Like it looks just like incredible to be there.
Yeah, yeah, and like even if you don't enter, just to go and see like the all the people there and see how passionate they are and everything. I mean, like I even I brought it up. I'm not sure if it was the last podcast or the podcast before. That you know me and my friends were in a Japanese uh gaming like news site because we were playing
Yeah,
Street Fighter
yeah.
2 Super Turbo while we were waiting to get into the venue. And like
Yeah.
it started with the three of us and then like a whole crowd of people just showed up because oh you're playing Super Turbo? Oh let me get in on that. Like I got next.
Yeah, I remember that. Oh my god. I know for a fact I would love it just because like I'm the type of person that goes to like card tournaments and just because like I like the environment and seeing the people like playing and like are really into it and like hearing about it.
Hmm.
So I could easily see myself being like really invested at like at an Evo event.
Yeah, yeah. And the energy for the like finals, like the top 8 of any game always brought so much hype. Like there's a really good piece I think it's by the Score Esports
Hmm.
on the rivalry between Goichi and Sonic Fox, who are like the two best Dragon Ball Fighters players.
Oh, okay.
And on
Familiar with
in the
Sonic Fox, but not the other.
yeah, Goichi, he's like one of the best fighting game players from Japan.
Oh, dang.
Like, and he's like a legend because he doesn't really play like the really big popular games. He plays like all of these like I guess like quote unquote budget anime games that you've never heard of.
Oh,
But
interesting.
he's like the best in at like all of them.
That's still fucking impressive.
Yeah, yeah. But in Dragon Ball Fighters, he was like consistently like top 1, top 2 in the world.
Yeah,
And like the one who was always gunning for his spot was Sonic Fox.
that is hype.
And uh the two of them actually started practicing each other's languages so that way they could communicate better.
Oh, damn.
Like Goichi started learning English and Sonic Fox started learning Japanese.
Wow.
But which is another thing that I love about the fighting game community, that it, brings together people that would never interact with otherwise. But
Say.
uh, there's a really great piece about Goichi and Sonic Fox's rivalry. I'm gonna look for it and send it to you. But
Yeah, if you
uh,
link it to me, I'll put it in the description of this.
uh, and uh, the Evo 2019 Grand Finals between the two of them, because it was a rematch of the Grand Finals from the previous year.
Mhm.
Um, like that set was filled with so many ups and downs, and like you could hear because this one wasn't at the Sunday finals. This was a Saturday game, so like it wasn't part of like the really big arena like finals, but like everybody was watching it.
Oh, right.
Um, and people were like screaming and whenever like stuff was happening. And Sonic Fox had won the year before. Sonic Fox won the 2018 Evo finals.
Hmm.
And Goichi won the 2019 one. And like when Goichi won, he was literally in tears because he had been, trying so hard and he had never been able to win an Evo for Dragon Ball Fighters.
Oh.
He had never won. I don't think he had ever won an Evo for a main game because like there's like side tournaments that he had won, but he never won like the big Evo final.
Hmm.
And when he finally won, he was in tears because like he had been trying so hard and he had been playing for so long and he finally accomplished it. And Sonic Fox, like the uh I'm gonna Sonic Fox came out as non-binary, so I'm gonna refer to them as a they.
Oh yeah, yeah.
The the amazing competitor that they are, instead of being salty or anything, he was like laughing and patting Goichi on the back, and they even, took Goichi's hand, lifted it up in the air, and was like presenting him to the crowd, and like they had become like they even said on Twitter, like both of them said that they were like brothers in arms, like they had become so close because of the past like 2-3 years of Dragon Ball Fighters um competition, that they consider themselves as brothers, as siblings.
Yeah, man, that's what you want out of a rivalry, really, is to the point where you are boosting each other. Like you are
Yeah.
making each other better.
uh the video that I sent you is a great little mini documentary on the two of them
Oh,
and
nice.
their rivalry built up
Perfect.
between them just because of Dragon Ball Fighters, and it's really really good. I highly recommend watching it.
Definitely gonna
But
watch.
you can see how it culminates with the ending of the EVO 2019 finals, and it's just really wholesome to watch.
Yeah. And if you're listening to this, I'm gonna put a link to it down in the description.
But yeah, so yeah, I guess like my Evo travels and everything, and uh, the experiences associated with them for me are like unforgettable.
Yeah, that's very, very, very plain to say. Oh, uh, boy, try to think because I have like two pretty negative stories on here, and I'm like trying to think of like which one I could just like knock out.
Go for it. I can talk about a negative story.
Oh, good. All right, let's bring them in. So, fuck, I feel like an asshole for this one, but I was like a kid when this happened. So I was probably about like 8 when I first got my GameCube, and I
Hmm.
think it, but yeah, because like 2006 is like when the Wii came out, right?
Yeah.
I got my GameCube like pretty close to when the Wii came out, so I basically, like I enjoyed like a lot of the library because at that point a lot of the games that were really good were on sale. Like, no, I got Melee and Melee, Mario Sunshine, Monkey Ball, Sonic Adventure 1 and 2. Uh, and then one of the games that like I spent a lot of time playing was The Simpsons Hit and Run. And I don't know if
Hmm.
I doubt because there's never been a reason to bring this up, but like my favorite TV show, like pretty much my favorite TV show of all time has always been The Simpsons.
Hmm.
And growing up, like The Simpsons Hit and Run was like my favorite like game for a while, just because it was literally like open world Grand Theft Auto style game, but you play as The Simpsons.
Hmm.
I loved it so much, and to the point where it's one of the only games I think at that age that I ever did this, but I actually 100%ed it.
Oh,
And
nice.
so I remember like always like being like really proud of that. Like I got everything there was to do, and I remember I had a neighbor across the street because I hung out with like the kids like in my neighborhood, and there was
Hmm.
a kid across the street who also had Simpsons Hit and Run, but he like I don't know if he was just like he was kind of struggling with it, or like he just like couldn't like get far. He was only in the I think like the one level that's after the first Springfield level. And so I showed him my file, and he was like shocked at how much content there was in the game. And he kept kind of, talking about how he wished that like he could experience it. So I remembered that, well, with the GameCube, you can copy your save data on the memory card and then transfer it over to the other person's memory card.
Hmm.
And so I just decided, oh yeah, and you know what? Like that'd be like nice to do. I'd let him like have like my card if he just wants to like play that stuff but doesn't really like have the time to do it. So I, told him to go get his memory card. He brought it over. We put it in. I transferred over my save file, and he, had a copy of my file on his GameCube. And I always kind of like, I probably at the time was just kind of like, okay, that was that. But then, and like I don't even know like how it even started, but like he kind of started like bragging about how he beat the game,
Oh,
and like like low key to like the other kids on our block, and in the back of my mind I'm like, okay, but that was my save file, like it's not, it's literally my save file that you're claiming that you beat the game with. And eventually, like and it's such like a petty thing because it's like it's just kids around the block, like who really cares. But when you're one of the kids living on the street, like it really does feel like life ending. Like I got my all my work stolen from me by this kid, essentially, is like where my mind went. And then I did the thing that like I kind of regret doing. Like if I like honestly, like I would not have done this if I were the me I am today. But basically, we were playing out in the yard, and I forgot what we were playing, but we were playing a game where I could sneak away, and I snuck into his room, and I deleted my save file off the memory card.
oh,
And like, I remember he was like he like was in tears and having a meltdown. I was like started to actually like have regret. And I'm like, okay, well, like, because in my mind I'm like, this is revenge for like claiming you like you beat the game or whatever, with even though it was just my memory card or whatever. And like I don't know, like I'm like cringing just thinking about it right now because I'm like, God, why? Like I should have just let it be. It wasn't even a big deal. It's just
mhm.
Simpsons hit and run. To this day, I wonder if he still remembers that I deleted his Simpsons. Well, not even his. It was my save file, but still, I felt bad. Just felt bad about it.
Uh-huh. That's
Eh.
funny.
It's just like it's this stupid shit that's like so important when you're a kid. But like looking back on it, I'm like, but like what? It's like whatever. Like nowadays, like you could have just fucking did like cheat codes or whatever to just unlock everything in the game, and like it wouldn't even matter.
Hmm.
Eh. But yeah, that's always one of my like my cringy like memories, like just going back to.
Well, you see, I actually didn't plan to bring up a lot of negative memories, so this one's going to be very short and sweet.
Awesome.
My negative memory is Mighty Number Nine.
Oh god, more negative than an anime fan on prom night.
More, yeah, more negative than an anime fan on prom night. Funny story, huh?
They really knew their target audience with that fucking humor.
Oh my God, dude! Like, I'm I'm still not over one, how hyped I was for that game, and two, uh, how disappointed I was when I actually played it.
Wait, this is kind of unrelated, but don't you have Inafune his signature?
Yeah, I do.
Should
Uh,
get in touch. Tell him, hey, this wasn't quite it.
yeah, he signed a Mega Buster plushie that I had. It's like one that you can like put onto your arm and stuff.
Oh, that's cool.
Like, yeah, it's a really cool like little bit of memorabilia. But
I love game merch, so like shit like that. I'm like, oh my god, that's so cool.
yeah. But uh, but yeah, I he had a panel at Anime Expo that me and a friend attended. We waited in line.
Was it for the Mighty Number Nine animated series?
That's where it was revealed actually,
Yes.
because he was actually just there as a like quote unquote guest of honor. Like
Oh
the
man.
Mighty Number Nine animated series announcement was something that was a surprise for the
Oh
event.
yeah.
Uh, and we were all like everybody in the room was hyped about it. And like that guy's like my hero. He made like the game I loved growing up. I loved the Mega Man games growing up.
Yeah.
Uh, and then yeah, just I remember afterwards it was so cool because he actually like said that they said that there wasn't going to be any like signing or anything, but he himself said that like he would do like a few signatures or whatever, and so like people just kind of rushed
Wow.
the what's it called? People rushed the like stand where he was,
Yeah.
and I remember I was like there with a bunch of other people, and uh I just had my little Buster plushie held over my head,
Ah.
like like praying
Yeah.
that he would pick me as one of the people that he would sign something for, and then I felt it leave my hands, and like I looked up like no fucking way,
And it was
and
Jesus Christ himself. And he said, "No more games, Tyus. Come back to the Lord."
it was Jesus Christ, and he looked me in the eyes and he said, "Wake up." No,
It's
but
no fair. He cheats in the Mario Party mini games because he can grip the N64 joystick with his fucking stigmata. Anyway,
but I remember how excited I was when I saw him with my plushie in his hands, signing it, and then he handed it back to me. And I also remember specifically how excited my friend and I, how excited we were because we actually saw him like uh before we got into the actual uh like hall. It was like one of their conference halls.
oh yeah,
Um we saw him sitting there, uh and like he could kind of like see us through a window, and I waved at him with my Buster and everything, because I have like a Mega Man like plush hat and Buster, and I was wearing both of those in the middle of summer.
oh my god,
uh
dude, in fucking
and
downtown
I
LA.
yeah, and I waved
Oh
at
my god,
him with the little Buster hand, and he waved back, and like I was so fucking excited for that. Just him like acknowledging the fact that I
that's
existed
so cool.
was so hype. And then yeah,
That is
Mighty Number
so
Nine
cool.
came out, and I've been very skeptical since.
Honestly, if I were in a situation similar, and if it were like Miyamoto on the other side of the window, I would probably, if he even just like made brief eye contact, I would shit my pants. Like
To
literally.
quote to quote my friend who I was there with when we were waiting for the whole thing to start. My friend quite literally said, "I've had sex before and I've never been this excited."
Oh my god.
But yeah, it was
And then
yeah, and
Mighty
then
Number
Mighty Number
Nine.
Nine came out. Then the game actually came out, and that was an experience.
That really is a shame that like Mighty Number Nine has become the poster child of like every Kickstarter like funded game or like a spiritual successor game.
Yeah, and I
And
mean,
it's never anything like Shovel Knight was also Kickstarter if I remember correctly.
I believe so. Yeah,
And like Shovel Knight is like such a fucking outstanding game.
Shovel Knight is a god tier game.
Like honestly, like if you guys have not fucking played Shovel Knight and you love Mega Man, like what are you fucking doing?
Just Mega Man. It's just like if you like old school 2D platformers
Yeah,
in
yeah.
general, like that game is god tier. If you like Mega Man, I highly recommend Azure Striker Gunvolt. It's another Mega Man inspired game, but this one's actually good.
Mm.
Uh, but yeah, it's a. I'm never gonna forget how excited I was in that moment, because I had
Like an anime at a Mighty Number Nine panel.
because I remember specifically I had already gone home from that day of AX,
Oh
and
damn.
then my friend texted me. He was like, "Hey, we're in line for the Keiji Inafune panel. Like, are you coming?" And I was like, "When does it start?" And he was like, "Oh, it starts in like a few hours. We're just waiting in line so that way we can make sure we have a spot." And
Damn. And you
I was like,
went back?
I went back,
Holy
and
shit.
we waited in line for like another 3 hours, I think.
Those of you who don't know, like Tyus is like a significant distance from like for him to travel there. That's a fucking trip.
Yeah,
Not like a
yeah.
not like not like a Las Vegas trip or anything, but like it's decent fucking trip. especially after
Yeah.
you came back.
Yeah. I went back and forth, and after that panel, I remember going home, and it was like, I want to say like maybe close to like 10 or 11 o'clock when I got home. And at the time, since I was like a high school student, that was like the latest I'd ever stayed out before.
Damn, you could say you were born again. Bringing it back, baby.
But yeah, that's my negative experience that I'm never gonna forget.
Oof. God. I I God, I kind of like. I think I'm just gonna combine these two because they're both pretty short and they're pretty much the same topic. But like, and funny enough, I think I'm trying to remember. I think I mentioned this. Actually, fuck. There's even like, okay, this negative story is just I got robbed a lot as a kid. Because I mentioned earlier on stream today, because we are talking about Ratchet and Clank, and like I had only played like the first Ratchet and Clank for like an hour, and then like the next day, like our house got stolen and my PS2 was stolen.
Yeah, dude, that's so fucked.
Yeah, and not only that, but like it happened again, and because like I brought up that like after that we bought a new PS2, and then instead of Ratchet and Clank we had Jack and Daxter, and then I got really into Jack and Daxter, and then we got robbed again, and the PS2 was stolen again.
That's so fucked.
Yeah. And then another thing was that there was a kid that like I used to hang out with that was like I think like 2 or 3 years older than me. And he lived like at the end of the block. And I had an action replay for my DS, and he just happened to know like how to put all this stuff on it because I was a dumb kid. I didn't know how to like put all the like codes and stuff into your action replay so you can actually do things with it. And so at the time, he like basically I would give him my action replay, and in return he would like basically put on codes so I could get legendary Pokemon for Diamond and Pearl. And then one day, you know, I don't know why I did this, but I lent him my fucking Nintendo DS, my DS Lite with my action replay, and then he disappeared,
Really?
never to be seen again. Yeah.
What the fuck?
Yeah, I never got it back. And kind of sucks cuz I really liked that DS Lite.
Yeah, and like, Jesus.
Yeah, and then the third story, this one's a little bit better cuz this one wasn't a permanent rob. But growing up we had neighbors next door that were one of the kids was around my age, one was a little bit younger. And at the time I must have been like probably like 6 or 7 maybe. And I was obsessed with my Nintendo 64, and I loved playing like Diddy Kong Racing and Kirby 64, Ocarina of Time, just only in the Kokiri Forest. And when they would come over, we'd play like Mario Kart, Diddy Kong Racing, all this stuff. And then the older brother and I would want to like actually like go play like something else. So we would let the little brother stay in the room and just kind of play on my Nintendo 64, and that was fine. And then out over the course of like I guess like a few weeks, my mom always is the one that tells this story, but like over the course of a few weeks I started like kind of complaining that like a lot of my games were like missing. Like Diddy Kong Racing went missing, then Kirby 64 went missing. Then I think the game that like broke the camel's back was Mario 64. Like when Mario
Mhm.
64 disappeared, I was like, okay, something is fucking up. You don't lose Mario 64. Don't just
Mhm.
misplace that game. So eventually, I told my mom, and my mom, like, you don't, and it's hard for anyone to like get into this position, but my mom like put together that, well, there is that kid that is usually left alone in the room playing the N64 while like me and his brother are out like playing like with our trains in the backyard. And so my mom goes over to their house and like knocks on the door and just kind of says like, hey, I just wanted to take a look because my son says he's missing a few games. And the mom apparently immediately went into like full on like defense mode, going, are you suggesting my child stole? And like was getting like really heated apparently. My mom was just like, well, you know, we're not, it's not like we're upset, we just want to know what's going on. And so, like, you know, do you mind if we look? And then eventually, I don't even know how she caved, but like, she went to go get their box that had like all the N64 cartridges in it, because they, you know, of course, they also had an N64. And the first thing like my mom like was looking for was not Mario 64. She knew I loved Kirby. I guess that one would be like more, I guess, easy to find for her. So she went looking for like, you know, Kirby. She picked it up and sure enough on the back, because all my parents were always like this, but we had to label everything that was ours. And on the back
Mm.
of every N64 cartridge, we had a sticker that had like our home address, like our names on it. And like all of my games were like in that fucking bucket that she brought
Oh my
out.
god.
And the mom, like according to my mom, like she just like was like so embarrassed. I was like, "Oh, I'm so sorry." Like, yeah, here, like just pick out the ones that have like your sticker. Like, oh my god. But like they, because apparently, and like I don't believe like the kid was just like stealing it or whatever. What they explained it as was when they go over to their cousin's house, they usually like just borrow games, and
Hmm.
like it's not usually a big deal. And so like yeah, that's honestly like because that kid was so young. That's literally what happened. He probably just was like gonna like didn't really know. He was so used to just
Yeah.
borrowing games.
Yeah.
But yeah, like there's like more things that like little like you know just like games here and there being stolen. But I'm very familiar with being robbed. I guess
That's that's so sad. I'm sorry, dude.
it's fine. I mean, like my game collection is still like I've got a significant amount of games. I don't feel like I've lost anything really at this point. But yeah, looking back on it, I'm just like, wow, that's pretty shitty.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. Anyway, moving on.
Yeah, and I think one of the last memories for me, um, in particular, it's just like this is just a whole bunch of memories, I
Hmm.
guess. But um, like for as much shit as I give League of Legends, uh, quite honestly, just the feeling of achievement I have when I play with when we play with like a full squad of like 5 people
Hmm.
and we make like coordinated plays and we uh successfully just like stomp on another team or we pull out like a really clutch victory or anything. Um like with friends, like especially now that they have their own in-game tournament system with Clash that happens like I think like once or twice a month.
Oh dang, they
Yeah,
only like
like
just now have that.
yeah, so like you can enter into what's called a Clash bracket, which is like an 8-team bracket.
Hmm.
And you're guaranteed to win a prize, but you have to play out all 3 games.
Whoa, that's cool.
But but yeah, it's really cool, and they even added this system where you can like quote unquote be a mercenary, and like
Huh.
you can mark yourself as like a player for hire. So if you don't have a
Whoa.
team but you think you're good enough, you can just like put yourself kind of on the market, and people can just like invite you to join their Clash teams.
Oh, whoa, that's a really cool way to like actually like get to know other people too and see like, hey, you can like build the team off those.
Yeah, and just playing like Clash games with friends and whatnot, and just like the years of memories playing League for like 13 years, and like I've also had the the joy of like playing alongside content creators and whatnot, because like one of my friends is like an ex-pro in League of Legends. Like he was on the sub team for like at the time one of the like 3 biggest esports organizations in North America.
Oh, jeez.
Yeah, he even went to the world championships with them like as their sub 80 carry in case like their main 80 carry was just not playing well or something.
Oh my god.
Yeah, and because of him I was able to play a few games with some of like the big content creators like Lily Pichu and like Ugu Bear and Natsumi, which was fucking amazing to me.
That's fucking crazy. What the hell?
Yeah, yeah.
You know famous people?
Yeah, I do actually.
What the frick?
But just doing stuff like that and uh like I guess like this is like I'm not sure if you'll be able to relate to this, but like you ever go to like a Fry's Electronics or a Costco where they had like a kind of like free demo of like a game to play?
Bro, like, what do yeah, abs 100 fucking percent, yes.
Um I think that's kind of part of where I realized like I really like playing games in front of people.
Mm-hmm.
So I remember specifically at the Fry's Electronics in Manhattan Beach, uh, I would
Rest in
play like the
peace.
Guitar Hero 2 like
Mm-hmm.
trial or whatever that they had. And like people would watch and like some people would just like I would be like, "Oh, do you want to like turn?" Because like I would just do that like while my parents were shopping for like electronic stuff.
Yeah.
And like the people watching would be like, "No, no, no, just keep playing." And I was like, "Oh, okay."
Damn. Man, I feel like most of my demo kiosk experiences have never never resulted in like anybody watching, but definitely resulted in people being like, "Hey, yeah, are you almost done?"
Oh yeah, no, like I've had a few experiences like that, and for me, I was just like, "Damn, this is kind of sick." You know what?
Yeah.
Maybe I'm good at this game.
You're like literally, as far as I know, you're good at every fucking game you breathe on.
No, that is not true.
Okay, fine. I'll beat you in like GTA tennis.
You probably will.
That no, that's like unintentionally like sidetracked. Small gaming memory of mine was that like I was known as among my friends as the best at GTA 5 online tennis. Anyway,
Sick.
I'm not gonna elaborate on that any further. Back to the like yeah, like demo kiosks were like some of the fucking coolest shit though. Like
Yeah.
I knew what games I need to beg for by doing that.
Yeah, definitely.
Oh man. Yeah. Was that wait, was that the end of your memory?
I mean, I have like other memories that I've already brought up before on other podcasts, like the Monster Hunter 3U lounge at
Ah,
AX
yeah.
a few years ago,
Mm,
like and getting other people into Monster Hunter, like in particular, is a great memory for me.
mm,
And as I've also brought up before, like just teaching people how to play games or like teaching people with the intention of improving games.
yeah.
Like you know, like helping you get better at
I was gonna
Smash
say.
when we were doing the Curry House stuff, teaching my teaching our good friend Tam, like I taught him how to play Smash as well and just improve. Um, and just teaching people about like fighting games or just any game that I know and I love and just helping people improve.
You got a gift for
For
that, man.
me,
Seriously.
that is far and away one of my like all of those memories combined is one of my is like are some of my favorite memories because uh getting to see people improve and uh like seeing the joy that they get when they start to understand a game or like you know they start like just seeing like you know them get the competitive drive or them just like just the joys of little victories for me.
Yeah.
It's a it's a really really good uh feeling for me.
Like I gotta say, man, like especially because there were times in my life where like I tried serious coaching from one of my friends in Melee and like I tried getting into like competitive Smash with like Smash 4. But like never before had it ever felt so attainable than like those nights playing with you and Tam.
I'm
Like
really glad to hear that.
like that was the first time I think in all my time playing like competitive games that I was like, oh, like like it's not because I always worry about like the balance of like how much is try hard and how much is just having fun. And
Mhm.
then doing it with you guys, I was just like, wow, I am having fun actually trying
Yeah,
and
I mean,
like
I know
and
that
feeling it like feeling my like I'm gonna say it in like such a goofy way, but like the gamer muscle grow.
yeah, I mean, I know, a lot of people like to like talk shit about like quote unquote like sweaty players or whatever.
Mm.
But when you when you sweat, but you're not, getting like excessively salty,
Yeah,
and when
you
everybody
want
is
that sweet
playing,
sweat.
yeah, when everyone is you know, like when no one's like, because one of the things that I genuinely dislike is kind of like um like kind of like toxic masculinity in the sense of like shit talking your friends. I've never I never really got the point behind that. Like for me, the best like I like lifting my homies up. I don't like bringing them down
Yeah,
to
man.
the point where when I would play like Smash with my cousins and my brother like every weekend. And I would be the only one that wouldn't shit talk other people like when we were playing
Mhm.
to the point where my cousin started shit talking for me as I was playing. Uh just because for me, I think it's best when everyone's having fun and everyone's, feeling good.
Well, yeah, easily, easily. I
Yeah.
mean, like, I knew both of you were like leagues above where I was, but at the same time, I never felt an inch of like either of you being like, oh, we have to like, it's like I'm the weak link here, obviously, or like, oh, if I'm playing against him, like I don't have to take it seriously. Like I was getting notes, I was like, still make like having fun and joking around at the same time, like it was the best competitive atmosphere I had ever experienced in terms
Yeah.
of like in like fighting games for me.
Yeah, and that's the type of thing that I want to promote and the type of community that I want to build.
Yeah, man.
I know I told you about this earlier when you were streaming, but I so there's this new card shop that opened up um on Van Ness and what street is that? Artesia? Venice and Artesia?
Wait, really?
Yeah.
I do a dog drop off like literally going down that street. That's why I'm like trying to think if I remember seeing this.
It's like in that same plaza as the Starbucks.
Oh, oh, I know exactly what you're talking about.
Yeah. And so they do like, like card game tournaments like um right now they're primarily focusing on Pokemon
Hmm.
TCG, but um I'm talking with the owner about potentially setting up because they did like a Smash Ultimate tournament, but they didn't have like a proper rule set or anything.
Uh huh.
So I'm in discussion with him about potentially setting up like more video game tournaments like Smash Ultimate, Guilty Gear, Strive, Street Fighter Five, and whatnot.
Damn,
Um,
really,
and I would be like the tournament organizer for it.
dude, that'd be so sick.
Yeah, like I'm trying to set that up right now so that way both because one I wanna like one being able to have like a any sort of a venue to play games with like other people like that play the same games is sick to me.
Hmm.
And two, I want to build a community like and actually because like I've been helping a bunch of people get like improve with Guilty Gear Strive like because for a lot of people it's like their first Guilty Gear game
Hmm.
and I've just been or for some people it might even be their first like fighting game
Damn.
um and I'm helping a lot of people improve at that game and like a lot of them are saying like oh dude like you're a really good teacher like you're really good at like helping me improve and like teaching me stuff and whatnot um so uh the thought of being able to do that with even more people for me is like super exciting.
Yeah, man, I'm excited for you. That sounds incredible.
Yeah, if I actually get it set up and going, I'll probably let you know about it because I mean,
Yeah,
if you
I'll
like
come
park
down.
tournaments and whatnot, like yeah, it'll essentially be like that.
Yeah, honestly, I'd just like to be there.
Yeah, yeah,
That sounds good, man. I'm trying to. I honestly I like that kind of being like a closing memory because it's a little bit of a shared memory too.
yeah, yeah. It's one that like those nights at Curry House post closing were so great.
I fucking hate that we only started doing that like towards the end. God, we should have been
Yeah,
doing that the whole time.
yeah. I guess it's just because like
I mean, I never
we're
thought to bring up I have a projector in my car and a screen.
yeah, and then Tam was just like, I mean, like, sometimes me and the other cooks just kick it in here and drink after work. Like, we could set up, like, Smash, and we're like, yo, wait, really?
And then yeah, and then we just fucking worlds combined and holy shit, it was the best.
Yeah, those are great times.
Yeah, man. Easily. Well, yeah.
Yeah, I think that's it for the both of us.
Yep.
Uh, and I think that's it for the podcast because it's pretty late slash early, depending on how you want to look at it for the both of us.
Yeah.
I'd like to
Yeah.
thank uh, everyone who listened and stuck around for the whole podcast. And we will be back next week. We have a schedule for what we're going to be talking about
Damn
next week.
straight.
We're going to be talking about like roughly like 3 games for different periods in our life that kind of reflect our tastes on video games at the time and seeing how we've evolved. Like our tastes have evolved since then.
It's such like an interesting topic too, and it's something that like I think can easily like tell you a lot about a person. Basically,
Yeah,
super looking forward to that.
same.
On that note, I guess we'll have to see you guys then. Have a lovely day, night, whatever. As always, links down in the description to everything we do, where you can follow our every waking moment.
Yep.
All
So
down there.
I've been Tyus.
And I've been TJ.
And this was another episode of the Untitled Gaming Podcast Project.
Later.
Peace.